My name's Gareth Philpott. I'm the co-founder of the Barber Academy Australia. The topic we're going to cover today is round layers. Elevation is the most transferable idea in the whole curriculum. Once a student understands that elevation drives movement, every layered cut, men's or women's, becomes readable. This is a key aspect of our course, guys, is layering in general. So the first one we're going to touch on is round layers. Now, you may ask, where would I use round layers? So, thick hair, somebody like myself, I would definitely use that to remove weight without losing any length of the hair. And then also, if those of you are wondering what type of haircut maybe, a mod cut is a really nice haircut that can be used for round layers as well. Something similar to my friend here. There's obviously a little bit of disconnection in mod cuts and whatnot, but round layers is a big setup for a mod cut as well. There's some common mistakes when people are cutting round layers. Now, inconsistency in elevation angle, losing your shape, and then over elevating, especially with fine hair. These are some common mistakes which hopefully now that you are learning the technique behind round layers. Okay, when it comes to round layers, there's a pretty simple way to explain it, and especially the technique behind it. So most of our heads are round. So you can see the curvature of the head is round, whether it's left to right, front to back, horizontal, vertical, they are round, okay? So if we're cutting a round layer, for example, we just need to keep to the shape of the head. Okay, first things first, where are we going to section and what are we going to section off? Now, I find another one, it's over-complicating sectioning for round layers. Now, we can section off the sides, we can section off the back, we can section off everything, okay? But I feel sometimes that's not really shop friendly. Now, when we are practicing and when we're first getting into round layers, 100%, we're gonna do the same thing as what we did on our previous haircuts. We're gonna separate the sides, the back, and then we're gonna have the top to cut first. Now, you've got two options when it comes to round layers. So you can either cut the back or you can cut the top. I like to cut the top on men's hair purely because a lot of the time I can show them the front of the hair and kind of be like, how do you like that length taken off? Now, obviously I'm showing it in the mirror with the client. We're consultating on that. They're agreeing, perfect. We are good to go. Now, what I'm gonna do is my first initial section. So I pull my comb towards where I am. The reason why I do that is because, think about a gym, for example. If I push compared to pull, I am stronger pulling. So when I'm pulling, that means I have more control of the hair, okay? Now you'll see a lot of people like to push their section from the front because they're looking into the mirror. That is no problem at all, okay? But I like to get that section from here, pull it towards where I am, because I feel that I have more control. Now, a really good one for if you're struggling with your sectioning is using these lovely combs that we have. Most combs have this. There's a little kind of thicker spot up the top. Now, the thicker spot is going to drive where you are going to section. So putting my finger on top of the comb like this, I'm applying pressure, which is going to provide me with a clean section. Now that clean section, I'm going to hold the hair with this finger, and then the hair which I don't want, so I'm going to flick out the way, I'm flicking with my comb. I flick it all the way over there. Now I have a guide throughout the middle. Let me just show you. David's on the wonk a bit, yeah, there we go. Cool, so let me just zoom in for you. Now you can see there, David's got his guide through the middle. So what that means now is I can use that little section from the front. If you do find that this hair is getting in your way, you can just clip that out of the way. Clip, clip, perfect. All I've got there now is my guide. My guide straight through the middle, okay? Now again, like I mentioned, I'm gonna discuss that length with the client. So I've spoken to the client. We're going to cut off a little bit of length. Not too much, nothing drastic. Now, the size of the section I'm going to get is from my nail to my first knuckle. Now, the reason we do that is because that is the flattest part of our finger. So when we're actually cutting, we're going to be cutting the flatter part. Now, think about when I go past my knuckle, how the ridge is. That ridge is then going to be in your hair. So we need to make sure that we are fully on the ball when it comes to how far we are cutting on our mannequins and how far we're cutting on our clients. We need to look after ourselves when we are cutting. So again, my section is here. Now, for uniform layers, again, remember, it's the shape of the head. Now we are going to go 90 degrees, which means that if I put my comb there, that is 90 degrees to the head. It's following the shape of the head. My section is nice. I've got clear tension there. I'm just going to cut to my knuckle. Now, before dropping that, I like to take half of it down and then take up my next section. Now, the reason why I do this is because I then have my guide, which is on my right-hand side. Then I've got the rest of the hair to cut. And I'm just going to match it up. Same thing. I can drop my hair. Gonna pick up my next guide like this. Again, you don't need to provide that 100% attention from the scalp. Just relax, and then when we come closer to the guide, which is there, that's when we're gonna cut. Again, to the knuckle. What I'm gonna do is just zoom in for this last one, just so you can see it fully with the guide. So you'll see this is my last cut at the back. Now, because, again, the head is curved, my section here is going to be 90 degrees to the head. So you'll notice I've gone that shape on the top of the head because that is a round layer / uniform layer. Cool, I'm picking up my tension. Again, my section is right next to the actual guide. Everything is 90 degrees. I'm cutting to my knuckle. I've got one last one there. Now that is my whole guide throughout the middle. Now you have two options when continuing where to go with this haircut, okay? Now because you've done your guideline through the middle, you can continue with sectioning down the head towards the front. You use your guide from the side. So there's the mark underneath and you just cut straight to it. Or what you can do is now that you have your guide, and again, remember your top is going to be sectioned from your sides, you can scoop up a section. I'm going again 90 degrees to the scalp. See my mark, cut, cut. Finish off that one. I got a little piece there. Cut, cut, cool. Now you'd continue to follow that down the head because you've now got a guide from behind as well as your guide in the middle.